Acknowledge me!
Assault was just revealed on SmackDown, and it was someone no one had suspected. Bron Breakker, the second-generation superstar once billed as the future babyface of WWE, walked to the ring with a microphone and confessed that he was the one who took Jacob Fatu out of action. The reveal shook the entire arena. But what Bron said next, and what he showed next, turned a shocking confession into one of the darkest, coldest heel turns WWE has seen in years. A chilling confession. Live on SmackDown. The stage was set when SmackDown opened with General Manager Nick Aldis in the ring. He promised to reveal the attacker responsible for sending Jacob to the hospital weeks ago. Before he could name anyone, Bron Breakker's music hit. The crowd reacted with cheers at first, thinking he was about to defend his name or demand justice. Instead, Bron's expression immediately told a different story. No concern, no sympathy, just controlled confidence. He walked into the ring, looked Aldis in the eye, and with no hesitation said, "It was me. I'm the one who attacked Jacob Fatu." The crowd erupted, not with cheers, but with stunned disbelief. Bron didn't stumble or hesitate. He spoke with eerie calm, saying he waited for Jacob alone backstage and attacked him because he wanted him gone. This wasn't a typical heel betrayal fueled by jealousy or personal anger. It was cold ambition. Ambition over brotherhood. Nick Aldis tried to snap Bron back to reality, reminding him he had just admitted to attacking another WWE superstar. But Bron didn't flinch. He explained that he attacked Jacob for one reason: power. The Bloodline was dominating SmackDown, and Jacob had been presented as their most dangerous enforcer. As long as Jacob was there, Bron said he would always be viewed as second best. So he took out the competition. Just like that. No emotion, no hesitation, no regret. Bron didn't try to justify it or blame anyone. He just admitted he removed someone who stood between him and the spotlight. It wasn't about revenge. It was strategic, and that made it terrifying. Bron's master plan revealed. Bron then revealed something even darker. He had planned this attack for months. He didn't strike out of anger. He studied Jacob's schedule, learned his habits backstage, and waited for the right moment to strike. He also admitted he manipulated the entire locker room and the WWE Universe by staying quiet while letting everyone blame Jimmy Uso. He watched Solo Sikoa's bloodline begin to fracture under suspicion and paranoia, and he enjoyed it. He stood there proudly, smirking as the audience began to boo louder and louder. Bron wasn't just a heel. He was showing the mindset of a calculated mastermind. Evidence nobody expected. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, Bron pulled out his phone, connected it to the arena screens, and played security footage he had secretly saved. The crowd went silent. The footage showed Bron weeks before the attack, scouting backstage areas and watching Jacob from a distance. He had been planning and waiting. The final clip showed him approaching Jacob backstage and launching a sudden attack. The clip didn't need to be violent to tell the story. It made one thing undeniable. Bron wasn't lying. This was premeditated. This was ruthless. This was real. Nick Aldis loses control. Nick Aldis immediately suspended Bron Breakker indefinitely and threatened legal action. But Bron laughed it off. He didn't care about suspension. He didn't care about fines. He didn't care about rules. He looked Aldis in the eyes and said, "You can't erase what I've done. Jacob is gone, the bloodline is broken, and I made it happen." Bron made it clear. He wanted chaos, and this was only the beginning. Roman Reigns returns. Then it happened, the moment that turned this into an all-time WWE segment. Roman Reigns' music hit. The tribal chief marched to the ring with fire in his eyes. He didn't come out smiling. He didn't come out posing. He came out to destroy. Roman looked directly at Bron and said, "You have my attention." He told Bron that attacking Jacob wasn't strategy. It was cowardice. Bron didn't wait for Roman to get closer. He smiled and said, I didn't do this just to remove Jacob. I did this to bring you out because I'm going through you next. A war begins. The stare-down between Roman Reigns and Bron Breakker was electric. Roman stood for family, legacy, and dominance. Bron represented ambition, brutality, and hunger. They didn't touch. They didn't need to. This was war, and everyone watching knew it. Before fists could fly, Nick Aldis stepped in and had security escort Bron out of the arena. Bron didn't struggle or resist. He stared down Roman the entire way out and smiled like a predator who had just cornered his prey. The message was delivered. Bron Breakker has arrived, and he doesn't care who he has to destroy to reach the top. What this means for SmackDown. This storyline changes everything. First, it finally explains the paranoia inside the bloodline. Instead of an inside job, it turns out they were being manipulated by an outsider the entire time. But will they reunite now that they have a common enemy, or is the damage already too deep? Second, Bron Breakker has just become the biggest heel in WWE overnight. Not a cheap heat heel, not a comedy heel. He's now a legitimate threat. He's dangerous because he believes everything he's doing is justified. Third, Roman Reigns now has a new mission. This isn't about championships anymore. This is personal. Bron hurt Roman's family, and Roman doesn't forgive. The road ahead. There are 3 major questions now. First, what happens when Jacob Fatu returns? He's not the type to forget or forgive. His revenge is going to be violent, emotional, and intense. Second, how far will WWE let this feud go? This story has real emotion, real consequences, and real edge. If handled correctly, it could define the next era of SmackDown. Third, can Bron Breakker survive Roman Reigns? He wanted Roman's attention, and now he has it. But he may not be ready for what comes next. Final thoughts. Bron Breakker orchestrating the attack on Jacob Fatu is one of the boldest creative moves WWE has made in years. It's shocking, layered, and brilliantly executed. Bron went from rising star to must-see villain in one night. WWE now has the chance to build one of the greatest rivalries of the modern era, Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns. If they don't ruin it with weak booking, this could go down in history as the moment Bron Breakker was truly born. Because now, he's not just the future, he's the problem. And nobody is safe.